Hi everyone. In today's session, we will see how to use grouping feature of Selenium. What do you mean by grouping feature? Let's suppose if you want to run test cases in a group, okay, then you can use this grouping feature. Okay. Uh, let's take one example to understand what do you mean by groups of test cases in Selenium. Let's suppose as a functional tester, we have different types of functional testing, right? Sanity testing and regression testing also, right? You can say UI testing or API testing. Okay, so we can have different type of test cases when we test the product. Now when we write test cases in Selenium, how will we segregate that this task is belong to sanity test case and this task belongs to regression testing and API task belongs to API testing. And when we execute our test cases, if we want to automate or you can say execute only API test cases, how can we do that? Okay, so to achieve this functionality, we have groups feature. Okay, so in this session, we will see how to group the test cases in Selenium, and if you want to run a particular set of test cases, how can you do that? Okay, and if you want to just exclude a particular test case, particular set of test cases from your all the test cases, then how can you do that? Okay, so let me show you one demo. So let's launch Eclipse. Okay, so let me create one new class here, new class. So I'm already having one Selenium Testng project in my Eclipse that I already created in last sessions. If you are not aware about how to set up Selenium WebDriver and Testng in your Eclipse, please go through my previous videos, okay, in the same playlist. So let me close these classes and let me create one new class here and name it as groups demo. Okay, so this class is empty now, and I will create one test case. Okay, only void test case 1. Okay, I'm just taking general test case examples. I'm not implementing any WebDriver implementation. Okay, and second test case can be public void test case 2. I will just print one console out here. We are not launching any browser or something like that. Okay, that you can do it on your practice. In this session, I will just show you the logic behind how to use groups and how to execute test cases in a particular set. So I'm just using one system.out.println statement. You can say test case 1. Okay, and we are just writing here test case 2. So we will use 3 test cases. Okay, we will write 3 test cases in our file. Okay, so let me write as test case 3. Okay, so let me run these scenarios. If I just run these scenarios by right clicking on feature file, so I can run like this, run as Testng. So it will execute all the scenarios here. Okay, have a look. We are not performing any complex operations in these test cases. We are just performing some one statement that is printing some data to console. Okay, so that's why it's executed so fast. Have a look. Is saying total test run count is 3 and pass count is 3. Okay, and you can see the output of test cases. Test case 1 output is test case 1. Okay, and test case 2 output is test case 2, and test case 3 output is test case 3. Okay, so when you run this file, all the test cases get executed by default. Okay, now the thing is how to group these test cases in a particular set. Okay, to do that, you have one feature you can mention like that. Okay, let's suppose test case 1 belongs to sanity test cases. Okay, so I will write like that, groups is equal to sanity. Okay, it belongs to sanity testing. Okay, and let's mention test case 2 belongs to, this test case belongs to uh, it belongs to two categories. Okay, sanity and regression. Okay, and if you have multiple groups, okay, if you want to uh, put one test case in multiple groups, okay, then you can write it as comma separated regression. Okay, and let's test case 3 is just belongs to group regression. Okay, so we like this. Now we have created three test cases. Test case 1 belongs to sanity suit only. Okay, if you want to run sanity suit, then this test case will be executed. Okay, and this task is also executed for sanity testing. Okay, so if you want to run sanity test cases, like in this file we are having two sanity test cases, right? In this file we are having two sanity test cases. One is this one, and second is this one. Okay, this is not sanity, this is regression. Okay, and now if you want to see which test cases are regression test cases, this is the regression test case, and this is also. Okay, and we can create one more scenario here that we can name as API testing task case 4. Okay, so I will name it as groups is equal to API. Okay, API testing, and I will mention as task case 4. So we have created different groups, right? So if we have put test case 1 belongs to groups sanity, and test case 2 belongs to group sanity and regression. Okay, so if either you run sanity or regression or both, okay, test case 2 will be executed, and test case 3 will be only executed for regression testing. If you are running regression testing group, then it will be executed. Okay, and if you are running sanity, only test case 1 and 2 will be executed. Okay, so this is the format of defining groups, and if you want to define multiple groups, you can mention like this. Okay, comma separated. Now the question is, how will you execute these groups? Okay, let me show you. To execute these groups, you need Testng.xml file. Okay, in previous sessions also I showed you how to create Testng.xml file in your program. Okay, in your project. Let me show you again. Just right click on this Testng file and click on Testng and click on convert to Testng. Okay, so if you want to change the name and the test name, you can do it, and this is the path of Testng.xml file. This is the default location. If you want to change the location, you can change it. Okay, so I will change the suite name as group feature testing test. Okay, click on next, finish. So have a look, we got Testng.xml file here. So this is the content of Testng.xml. This is showing XML editor. If you want to see raw content, right click on it, open with, and click on text editor. So this is the content of Testng.xml file. By default, when you convert to Testng.xml, you got in this class you got one dot here. Okay, remove this dot. So now if you execute this Testng.xml file, it will execute all the test cases from this group demo class. Okay, let me show you. Run as Testng suite. Have a look. is in group demo class we are having 4 scenarios, okay, and it's executing all the 4 scenarios. Total test run is 4, pass count is 4, okay. So if you want to run a particular group, okay, let's suppose I want to run only API test cases, okay, then how can we do that? Okay, so in this testng.xml file, for that you need to modify testng.xml file, okay. In this testng.xml file, in the test tag, okay, you have to keep the classes tag as it is, okay. So in this test tag you need to mention here groups tag, okay. Okay, and in these groups tag you have to mention run tag, okay. In the run tag you have two options, one is include and other is exclude, okay. You can use include tag, this one, or you can use exclude tag. Okay, let me tell you what is the use of include and exclude. And exclude tag, okay. Let's suppose in your file has 100 test cases, okay. When you execute this file, by default Selenium will run your all the 100 test cases, okay. And let's suppose you have marked 10 test cases as API testing, okay. If you run with include tag, okay, and include API tag, include name is equal to API. So in this case, in the case of include, it will only execute these 10 test cases of API testing in the case of include, okay. Now take the same example for exclude tag, okay. We have file has 100 test cases and 10 test cases on API testing, okay. Now if we use exclude tag for API, name is equal to API, in this case it will execute 90 test cases. In the case of include, it will run only 10 test cases of API testing. In the case of exclude, it will not include, it will skip the test cases which are marked as API testing, okay, and it will run the remaining test cases, okay. Let me show you practically. So in this case I will just run API testing, okay. So we'll name it as API. So let me run this scenario. Let me run this testng.xml file, run as testng. So guys, it's running only one test case. Now let's have a look on the class file, group demo.feature, sorry, Java. In this, have a look, we are having only one test case which is marked as API. Have a look, we are not having any other test case which is marked as API. We are having only one test case of API group, right? That's why it's executing only one scenario, right? Now let's try other group. Let's try sanity, okay. In this file we are having two test cases of sanity, test case 1 and test case 2, okay. So if we put sanity here, it should run two test cases, okay. Let's try it, run as testng suite, see the output window. Yeah, spelling is case sensitive. Okay, let's run this. Have a look, it's executing two test cases, okay. So we are having two test cases of sanity, 1 and 2, okay. So let's try the regression one. we are having two test cases of regression. Okay, let's try regression here. Guys, name group name in Selenium is case sensitive. Okay, if you use capital S here, it will not work. So it should execute two test cases. Run as Testng. Yeah, have a look. It's running two test cases. Test case 2 and test case 3. So in our file, test case 2 belongs to regression group. Test case 3 belongs to regression group. Okay. So if you want to run two groups, regression plus sanity, you can do that. Let me show you. In the case of sanity and regression, let's have which test case should run. So in the case of sanity and regression, let me show you. So it will just you can say it will just create a set of these test cases. Okay, it will not, let's suppose this test case is for sanity also and regression also, so it will not run two copies of this test case, it will run only one. Okay, so when you execute two groups, it will just create a set with the unique test cases. Okay, so we are running sanity plus regression, so it will execute test case 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so in this case it should run 3 test cases. We are using regression plus sanity, so it will run only 3 test cases. Test case 1, 2, 3. Have a look. It's running test case 1, 2, 3 and 3 come. Okay. So let's try exclude now. Okay. So if I use exclude here, name is equal to sanity. So sorry, I forgot to put the ending tag. Okay, so we are now using exclude. Okay, as I told you, exclude we using to exclude the test cases. Okay, in this case, from this file we are using exclude sanity tag. Okay, so in this case test case 3 and test case 4 should be executed, and test case 1 and test case 2 should be excluded. Okay, so let's try this scenario. Run Testng.xml file, run as Testng suite and see the results. Have a look. It's running test case 3 and 4. Okay, and it's skipping test case 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, so this is the feature of include and exclude. Include is used to just run only those test cases which are marked with that group name. Okay, and exclude is used to skip those test cases from all the test cases. Okay, so in this way you can use include and exclude group features in your Selenium test cases. Okay, and you can put group names like this in front of test annotation, groups equal to sanity. Okay, if you want to include one test case in multiple groups, you can mention like this: groups is equal to sanity comma regression. Okay, and if you want to mention one more, you can do that like that, API. Okay, so you can mention n number of groups here. And if you want to run these test cases, if you want to use the groups feature, you can just open Testng.xml file and use here. Okay, groups, run and include or exclude. Okay, use any feature. So you can use any feature, either include or exclude or both. Okay, I hope you got some idea about groups and include and exclude tags in Testng.xml file. So guys, that's all for today, and if you have any questions about these groups and include and exclude features of Selenium and Testng, please let me know. You can mention in the comment box. Okay, thank you.